Call to order the Monday, November 11th meeting of the Landmarks Commission. We'll start with the roll call. Susan?
Here.
Veronica?
Present.
Justin?
Excused.
Ron?
Here.
Ian?
Yeah, but not connected.
And David?
Here.
Okay, everybody present except for Justin. Item B on the agenda is the approval of tonight's meeting agenda. It was in the packet. Does anybody have any corrections or modifications to tonight's agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C is the approval of the minutes from the October 7th, 2019 meeting of the Landmarks Commission. Those meeting minutes were in your packet. Are there any discussion, corrections, or comments on those minutes? Hearing none, call for approval of those minutes. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item D, regular business. First item on the agenda is Certificate of Appropriateness 19-47, consideration with possible action on a design review for replacement doors and windows located at 1033 South Quincy Street. Jason?
Here you see it on the map, it's across the street from, which school is that?
Aldo.
Thank you, I thought it might be. Picture of the house that I took this morning. It's a contributing property within Astor. I forget, did I write down there, built 1922-ish. It is not a priority property, but it has a good degree of integrity. A lot of original siding, with the exception, I think, in that little dormer up high. A lot of original windows, but I couldn't tell you if they're all original. Here, I just want to call your attention to the front door. You see the door with side lights. And, you know, this is one of those recommendations I don't necessarily feel good about, but I want to talk more about the door. You see it's got 3 side light windows on either side. You see that they're kind of sort of at the same height as the partition in the windows to either side. Excellent. So the application calls for the replacement of the front door. You see the current front door top left. It's got that 9 light window with the side lights to either side, each side light having 3 panes of glass. The blue door, as best I can tell, is an example of what the proposed replacement is. The 5 light side lights, as I understand it, are also what the proposed replacement is. Moving on to the top right, you see the back door and the proposed replacement for the back door. I note that the back door kind of matches the front door in general paneling design. And then bottom center, you see a picture of the paired windows that we're proposing to replace. Based on the Secretary of the Interior standards, it's very clear, repair rather than replace. Based on this, I would recommend denial. But again, I said as a person, I don't feel great about that. I note that the back door, had they not sent me a photo, I wouldn't have known you had a back door. So it's typical that back doors have been replaced. In this case, it appears to be original. Windows are a bigger deal. That is very much a repair rather than replace issue, so long as it can be repaired. Based on the photo, it would appear that this could be repaired if need be. The front door I kind of have to kick to you. Again, I'm recommending denial on all of these just because they could all be repaired rather than replaced, but as a realist, I'd say, you know, I don't so much care about the back door. The windows, where do you draw the line? If you trade out some good windows, you're kind of giving a green light to trade out all the windows. And on the front door, you know, I would say the front door, as does the Secretary of the Interior, that it's a character-defining element. And while I could see replacing a front door, perhaps here you've got an original one that doesn't really quite look like the one that they're calling for to replace it. So that one I'd have the most heartburn about, I suppose. But in the end, it's up to you folks. So you may want to address these individually, the back door, the windows, and the front door.
Do we know the windows? I thought that it was proposed that they're a Pella Architect Series window.
They're proposing to replace the original paired windows shown here with Pella Architect Series. They're a very good match with the Muntins that actually have, you know, OG profiles on the interior and the exterior with the spacer in between the panes.
And explain to us, I mean, because of the match, because the Pella Architect Series has been approved by this commission in the past as being a very historically accurate window, the only thing we're really losing then is just the original windows to the building.
That's great. And this does not front the public right of way.
Um,
I guess my issue there is I just came from a conference where they kept screaming about keeping the original windows. No.
Is the property owner here? No? Guess we're on our own tonight.
Again, I mean, as far as the back door goes, that's not visible from the right of way, correct?
Correct.
In any way, shape, or form. So-
And realistically, most properties have already replaced the back door, in which case replacing a replacement is fine. Here, my minor hesitation is that the back door clearly matches the front door. Okay, so you've got an original element. If you remove and replace it, it is a ding to the integrity of this house. Is it such that it's gonna bump the house from contributing to non-contributing? No. Is this a high priority property? No.
These might be our folks here.
So, as a realistic person, which you do not pay me to represent, I don't so much care about the back door. The Secretary of the Interior standard says repair rather than replace.
Do we have any knowledge of why they're doing this?
Right.
They appear to be in good condition.
I have no information on the reason why.
I mean, I wish they were here, because like in the case of my home, I know that I have a door that looks like it's from the original property, but it's actually from another old house that was put on that door. So whether it's original to the property or not is another question.
Yeah, in this case, it would seem that if they're not original to this property, they found two matching doors.
Sure.
Which is
Sure.
a little more dubious that they'd be from some other property.
Right. No, just a thought.
And the adjacent side lights
Are
are
matching.
matching.
Yeah.
And if you're speaking of the front door, you know, I call your attention to the proposed replacement. The height of that window would no longer, there seems to have been some intent of design that there was a line maintained across the facade.
Yeah.
Is it the uppermost window?
No, the window to be replaced is around, looking at this, it'd be over on the left side facing the neighboring property.
Oh, okay.
And just the one window.
Just the pair, yes. And on the front, I think the first story windows are original. I think the dormer windows are original. The center, second story appear to be original. I'm not sure about the left, right side, second story, if they're replacements or, I didn't get out of the car, it was cold, you know, that kind of things. So I don't know what I can say to make your decision easier on this.
And the lights adjacent to the front door, going top to bottom, as proposed in the
Proposed Pella replacement is a 5-light side light, so they
top,
look,
yeah, full height.
they look like the blue door there on the top left, I suppose. I don't know what color, of course, but I don't know what color they would
Yeah.
purchase, but
I don't feel like we have enough information. My instincts are telling me that those side lights are being custom built to fit the existing opening. And if that's the case, then why wouldn't they be custom built to replicate what's there? Without a submission and without the property owner here, we really don't have any reasoning or rationale as to why they've chosen to do what they're doing. I would be inclined to approve the window replacement and reject the replacement of the front and rear door at this time.
I'd second that motion.
So we've got a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? No. I think we're voting.
Is it noted in the, what do you say?
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
Did yours work, Susan?
I don't see anything there. for
Oh.
voting.
Would you like to voice vote?
What the heck? I'm just waiting for it to pop up.
So yes?
I don't have anything.
Yeah,
for-
can you voice vote for us
Oh.
and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. And that passes unanimously.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item D2, a Certificate of Appropriateness 19-50, consideration with possible action on design review for a roof dormer located at 912 South Madison Street. Jason?
Here we are on the map. I think the most recognizable landmark is the house just to the north on the corner, the huge red brick one. Not to say this house isn't recognizable in its own right. Built in the 1880s by the owner of a lumber mill. When I look at this photo, I instantly think that I see additions, and maybe that's not the case. The 1907 Sanborn map shows it more or less in its current configuration. So this addition-looking thing on the left was present by the time of 1907. So you might have a very rambling house that perhaps the owner of the lumber mill may have designed and built himself because he has the materials and, you know, arrives at a aesthetic conclusion that looks like an addition. I don't know. Where we'll be looking, if you look at that map, we're going to be looking around, say on the top left corner here in a second. Pardon me while I nerd out for a second. He's got a one-story playhouse in the back in 1907. That's kind of unique. It's not there anymore. So around back in the corner, the proposal is to build a dormer to the left of the stick figure who's standing in the second-story addition. It would be a dormer above what was an enclosed back porch at some point. This is a contributing property. It has relatively low integrity because of replacement siding, replacement windows, and of course you can see multiple changes here on this back corner. In the end, recommending approval of the application because the new work would be differentiable from the old and respectful of the size, massing, and style of the historic building. The addition is not visible, as best I can tell, from a public right-of-way. And frankly, it kind of keeps to the rambling vernacular style of what's been built, so. I'll have a heart attack over a window, but this dormer addition, hey, that's good. Any questions? So there's a stick figure standing.
I see him
Yeah.
hanging there, whatever.
So this would be a shed roof dormer above that enclosed porch corner,
Gotcha.
which would allow a person to walk into what's unusable space currently and not have to crawl. I think it's for a closet.
Oh,
And there's new roof shingles too, but we can approve that at the staff level, or if you throw it into the motion, that'd be great too.
It's on the backside of the house. It's not visible from the street. Quite frankly, I think it matches the existing character of the house, so I would recommend approval.
Second.
We've got a seconded motion. Any other discussion by anybody? David, you don't weigh in? We're voting.
That was approved.
All right, great, fantastic. We're on to item E, informational agenda items. The first would be staff level certificate of appropriateness applications.
So first up, number 45, this is at 816 Shawano. You may remember them as folks with wooden soffits. Their garage has this person access door. I approved it. Any questions on that? I think it was probably in worse shape than what the scan showed. 1043 South Van Buren, a garage roof and gutters. You know, a little bit of personal hesitation there because we have nice half-round gutters and the fancy metal cresting, but we have nothing to say that that shouldn't be replaced. So approved and noted too that the half-round gutters are appropriate and the cresting is pretty cool if they choose to try to do that again.
Do you know what their intention is?
Asphalt shingle with gutters. They didn't specify. I'm guessing anytime anybody specifies gutters, it's going to be a K-style gutter. But half-rounds are pretty cool. You can still get them. 739 South Jackson, number 48, oh wait, I'm thinking somebody else, but they want a fence in the backyard. So, fence in the backyard. .722 South Monroe had a big list of things, but only two that warranted any consideration by this group. Replacing a non-historic back door with something that'll look more historic. It'll be a paneled door. Sorry, I didn't anticipate it would be so much of an eye chart there, but it's a multi-panel solid back door. And then they went and put in a wood storm window, which is awesome, so gave them a thumbs up for having done that. And they're also putting in fire extinguishers and doing some furnace work, and I don't know why it was on the application.
That's a multi-unit?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a 3 or 4-plex. Okay.
Really cool big house.
Yeah.
The door will be an improvement. Wooden storm windows, always a good thing. 109 North Broadway, it's a new sign. It's replacing an existing sign, so the Hatcetra Circle sign will become, well, it was so much easier to read on my screen. Broadway Exchange Company Antiques, Vintage. So that was approved. They want a new roof. It's fine, we approve that with the condition that it doesn't wrap over the cornice or is in any way visible under the coping or over the coping there at the front of the facade. And then drain pipes and some insulation decking and stuff. You won't see any of that from the road. So that was it for staff level ceilings.
Okay, raise and repair orders.
One property, 1115 Wirtz. It's on the west side. According to the raise repair order, it has a lot of issues: foundation, roof, walls, floors, ceilings, windows, doors, plumbing, heating. Anything you can think to criticize, it was criticized, I suppose. I see no reason to think that this house is individually eligible for National Register listing, and if it's eligible as part of a district, we don't really officially know that yet. So that's it.
Okay. Staff update?
I sent in our application to the State Historic Preservation Office for a grant to do the update to the intensive resource survey report. We got 3 responses from potential bidders, 2 of which were serious enough to have more than, one sentence. They sent in a packet. It looks like from those 2, they're estimating 9-ish years at $25,000 a year. So indeed, I sent in our application for the grant, cautiously optimistic that we will receive that. Cautious because the grant is pretty easy to fill out, just a couple sentences in ink. Hope that's good enough. Anecdotally, I've heard in the past that the state has had trouble giving away the money, so hopefully this goes to the front of the line. It's been 32 years or so since our intensive survey report was published. The state looks at 25 years or more. We have not been a recipient of this grant money in our past. We ticked all the boxes. That's the extent of my staff update.
That's all I had too, so easy peasy.
Okay. Date of the next meeting is Monday, December 9th, 2019. Be the last meeting in the year, I think. Anybody else have any other items?
For that last meeting, would it be all right to revisit a lot of the things that we
Guest
approved?
treats.
Revisit many of the things that we approved during the course of the year, just as a,
Summary.
yeah, like, we authorize this COA, here's the final product.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, we
that'd
usually
be
do
good.
annual reporting upstairs, so we can just do that as a presentation.
Yeah, I think that would be good to do that like twice a year, like every 6 months or so.
It'll add time, but,
But we'll have treats.
We'll do that.
who's bringing treats?
Veronica, obviously.
Anyone can do it.
Okay, if there's not any other business, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.